solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
I'm a fraud. Yeah.
KFAN was picking on me. When Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
Huh?
I didn't say that, Common. Don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah, Rosie.
Do you think that's some information I would like to know?
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
I don't deal in speculation.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your training?
Yeah, baby.
It was a nice run.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once.
Shame on me.
Shame on...
Fool me. What?
Shame on you.
What? I won't get fooled again.
If fool me, you can't get fooled again.
That's exactly right.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
Gotta be, you know who did the song Won't Get Fooled Again?
That's The Who, is it not? Or Guess Who?
I don't want you to guess. I was wondering if you... I'm asking if you know. I mean, guess who?
Guess who?
I know. Why would I guess? I'm asking you. Do you know who did the song?
I wasn't saying that you would guess. I was just saying, guess who?
Okay, 311. They're light years ahead of the Beatles.
Maybe they covered it, but no, I said, guess who?
So we're off to a great start today. This is called the throw. I think people don't even need to know this is a throw in the towel Thursday is what it is. A lot of topics to get to today. No, I didn't play. Even I didn't play. Well, they won't let you out on a day like today. There's snow on the greens. And this is just so awful, though. I mean, the timing couldn't have been worse for me. I took tomorrow off. I don't take many days off. I've been semi-retired for since I was 22 years old, right? And baby brother Peter, BBP, is coming back from this weekend for Easter. Flying in tonight. I pick him up at the old airport at 8:30. Then BBP, a couple of buddies of his and myself, we were going to go play golf all day long. Stick the tee in the ground at 7:30 a.m., play 18, have a quick bite to eat, and play 18 again. It's okay. The only day you can't play now, here's the thing. So far, it hasn't snowed. It's been rain. There was a little bit of snow overnight. As long as and the snow turned into rain. Do you know what song that's from?
No idea.
Dan Fogelberg, Auld Lang Syne. He took the idea actually from Harry Chapin. Because you know Harry Chapin has the song Taxi where he meets his old lover? You know, she was going to be an actress. I was going to learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. And she said, "How are you, Harry?" And I said, "How are you, Sue?" And then, of course, they weren't meant for each other anymore. That's why they went there. She took off to find the footlights. He took off to find the sky. And Dan Fogelberg, the late Dan Fogelberg, wrote a song called Auld Lang Syne, and he meets his old lover in a grocery store. The snow was falling Christmas Eve. So it was that kind of a song. It's, you know, unrequited, or two lovers, ships that had passed through the nights and they'd gone their separate ways. And he got the idea from Harry, or did Harry Chapin get it from Dan Fogelberg? Look up Same Auld Lang Syne and tell me what year that was released. And then Harry Chapin, Taxi. Somebody took the idea for just the concept of the song, right? You know, hey, I'll have a guy and a gal who were lovers at one time. They went their separate ways. They happen to bump into each other again, and they realize it was meant to be. It was meant to be that they broke up. There was no reason for them to stay together. Here she's acting handsome inside her hand. Here she's acting happy inside her handsome home. Me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned.
Same Auld Lang Syne is a song written and recorded by Dan Fogelberg, released as a single in 1980.
1980. Yeah, I think Chapin did Taxi in the 70s. So Fogelberg, probably one of those writer's blocks, can't come up with anything. And he's going, you know, that Harry Chapin song is genius. Where he meets his old gal in the taxi. He's driving a taxi. She's married to a rich guy. I'll do something. Because even the line he goes, she married herself an architect who kept her warm and safe and dry. She'd like to say she loved the man, but she didn't like to lie. So she married him for the money. That's why she married him. And same with Harry Chapin's gal. She was acting happy inside her handsome home, and he's flying in his taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. He goes flying so high when he's stoned, see? Why do we start talking about this?
No idea. Were you talking about not being able to play golf?
Oh, so speaking of...
snow turning into rain?
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you. So as long as it continues to rain, there will be no snow. We can play. It's going to be 41 tomorrow afternoon. Be 38.
You're excited about that?
Well, it's golfable. If you had the day off and your wife gave you permission,
yep,
and it was going to be 41 degrees, you'd play, wouldn't you?
I think I'd go to Party Barn.
Oh, really? Oh.
I'd do a simulator golf. I don't know if I'd be too excited to go out and actually golf.
So like yesterday, I couldn't have convinced you to go out when it was real feel at 25 degrees. Because that's what it was yesterday when I teed off. Real feel, 25 degrees. This might come as a surprise to you. I was the only one on the golf course.
Not a surprise.
Nobody else was there. And when I got to the clubhouse, nobody else was there. I may have been the only person to golf. Well, no, it got warmer in the afternoon. I mean, sort of. Wind was still blowing, but I'm sure there were some people that played a little golf. So we, no need to spin the wheel of topic.
You know how in politics we have a lot of the fringe crazies on the outsides?
Yeah, we have.
That's you on the golf course.
Yeah, I am a fringe crazy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I am, I'm hooked on A. Thielen is what I'm hooked on. I'm just hooked on playing golf. I just enjoy it. Now, remember yesterday I was telling Rosen, I'm going to watch the Twins. I like watching great pitching performances.
Huh?
The score was closer, or the score was... The game was more of a blow. How am I trying to say it? It was
the game was not as close as the score would indicate.
That's exactly right, because it was 12-1 at one point. It was just a beatdown. And, you know, I guess Joe Ryan probably didn't have his best stuff, but it was miserable conditions. I'm surprised they even played the game. It was raining at the beginning of the game. There was a time where it was coming down so hard, Joe was saying, I need a new baseball. Give me a new baseball. They were bringing out rosin bags by the half dozen. The grounds crew was coming up and they were opening up sand. When they brought the sandbags out, I thought the stadium was about to flood. I thought they were going to build a dike. And instead, they just had to spread sand all over. Think about this. How sad is this statement on me? I was locked in even when it was 12-1. I wanted to see how bad it could get. I wanted to see. It was after a while. They batted around where the guy that led off the inning and scored, he ended up coming up. So he's the 10th guy to the plate. And I told Deuce, I said, he made the final out. And they're probably going, what did you do that for? How do you make the final out against this ragtag pitching club? I thought they were just going to keep batting forever. Like, how many? I wonder what the Major League Baseball record is for most at bats in an inning. How many batters have come to the plate? Because last night it was 10. I know that's not a record because that's happened before. Teams have batted around. But I think this Twins outfit has a chance to break a lot of records, and not the historically good records, but the biblically bad records. They are now 1-4, I think, on the season. Might be 1-5. I might have lost track of a game, a loss there somewhere. It's a good thing they have those day off, days off scheduled between games. Otherwise, they'd be 1-6 right now. They're lucky they're only 1-4. Did you find a number for that? The
AI. If we want to go with the AI overview.
Yeah, why not? It's not always accurate. It's close.
The record for most plate appearances by a team in a single MLB inning is 23, set by the Chicago White Stockings in the 7th inning against the Detroit Wolverines on September 6th, 1883.
I remember that game.
18-run inning.
There's a picture of Rosen from that game. It's a famous photo. He was in the stands.
5 players batted 3 times. Wow. More recently, the Arizona Diamondbacks had 18 players at bat in 1 inning.
18 players in 1 inning. That's through the lineup twice, if my math is correct.
Correct. I'm actually surprised it's not more than that.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're saying, but I'm kind of surprised it's that much. I mean, how bad does your pitching staff have to be, or is the other team that just hot hitting? That's 18 guys.
It's a combination of both.
Yeah, you only need to get 3 outs for crying out loud.
Are we sure the Saints didn't give up? They're in that 20-walk performance the other night?
That's a good question. We should probably look into that. But again, I know there are other people that Rosen said it. He was scoffing at the Twins, and he was going, maybe I shouldn't do this, because I got a feeling guilty for scoffing at that. I don't know why he said he shouldn't do it anymore. I've scoffed at him forever, but I truly believe in the historically good, biblically bad. I'll watch their next game now and see how bad it can go. They're 1-4. How bad can it get?
And will you be rooting against them?
Well, is it wrong? My question for you, Tennessee, is closer to Chad Abbott. I'm doing an inside joke for you. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to root against the hometown team? I don't think it is. I mean, because I would, if let's say I started watching, let's say they won tonight and then won again and won again and won again. Let's say they went on a 20 out of 22. I'd be going, hey, 1991 all over again. And I would be pulling for them to win at that point. I go whichever way the wind blows.
Have the Twins already started tanking?
She said, why do you always end up at Nick's Cafe? And I said, well, the wind just kind of blew me that way. Okay, we'll take a break. I think they are. I don't know if they're tanking intentionally, but it sure does have the appearance of that. We'll break. We'll come back. A little this, that, lat, and a peek at the purple next. Common Man program on the Fan.
There's nothing like live hockey. Experience Minnesota Wild action at Grand Casino Arena all season long, including 2 Wild versus Kraken on April 7th and Wild versus Ducks on April 14th. Secure your seats now at wild.com/tickets and join the excitement.
Multitasking, Tennessee. Can you multitask?
I'm not a great multitasker.
I'm going to try to.
I'm someone that if I'm doing something and then you ask me to do something else, I have to finish what I'm doing first before I move on.
I don't have that option. I have to do the shit. Though I can sleepwalk through it, right? But I also have to write a spec spot for a client meeting that the salesperson is going to be at 2:30. And it's a 2-person, I got to write it. It's a 2-person spec spot. And Blakemore is going to produce it and be the guy, the second voice on the commercial. So I'm going to be writing as we're talking. So I might skip lunch during 534 and be writing a commercial While you're asking me really long-winded questions, Barrero-like questions is what I'll be looking for. I don't know if you can edit those a little bit and ask really.
I don't have Barrero-like questions, but I'm sure I'll get to the end of it, and then you'll
ask some hockey stuff, and then I'll just say I'll lean on you for the hockey stuff. Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at
Lean on me when you're not strong.
Do you know who did the song?
Yes. I've actually
Yes has never done Lean on Me. I know the entire Yes discography. They've done Close to the Edge. They've done Roundabout. They've done You and I. They've done Survival. They've done Starship Trooper. They've never done a song called Lean on Me. Thank you.
I've literally listened to Lean on Me about 100 times in the last 5 days.
And why would that be?
We just got a piano in our house.
Okay.
And
can you sing us a song? You're the piano man. Sing us a song for free.
Samson has been really into it, and so we've started doing just like basically YouTube lessons.
Okay.
Right. And I just went to like easiest songs to play piano for basically beginners, and Lean on Me. Bill Withers came up, so he's been playing that nonstop over the last 5 days.
Did Chopsticks not come up first? Because I would think that'd be the simplest song to play. Why don't you get him to do a little Tchaikovsky? Really. If you're going to start, it's sort of like when Deuce was, I took him parallel parking, and we went to behind Red Rock Elementary, and I set up those sticks, the rakes, and he wasn't able to do it. I said, let's just go up and do real parallel parking in a parking lot up in Woodbury. So we went to a place. He's never done it before. I got him parking between real cars. Brilliant. Let's dive into this.
Well, yeah.
I did it to Pete when Pete was first going to learn how to drive. We're at the Holiday gas station in Cottage Grove. So I go, here you go. Here's the keys. I toss him the keys. We're at the gas pump. He go, what? I go, we're going to go drive. He goes, aren't we going to go to a parking lot and practice first? Practice? We're going to go out on the streets. The first time he was ever behind the wheel of a car, and I took him out on 494 right away. I'm on the freeway. Is that wrong?
Throw him into the fire.
Is that illegal?
The only way you can learn is by doing it.
That's what I'm saying. So
they have it easy now, because back when I had to parallel park, we didn't have those fancy cameras every time you went in. And the rule was, if you hit the cones, you flunk the test. So I think I went 0 for 8 on my parallel parking in my test. I still passed the test, but that part, because I didn't want to hit the cones.
Well, you know what I think? I could be wrong here, but I think now that kids are so soft, right, that you can just tell the instructor, give me the 0 on the parallel parking, because I don't want to flunk, right? Because if you hit the cone, it's over.
It's over.
So you just say, I'll take the 0 points, figuring if I do well enough on everything else, hands at 10 and 2, turn signal, check the mirror, do this, do that, distat, lat, then you'll pass. So, I like that's exciting that he's playing, because both baby brother Peter and Deuce, in high school it was either you do band or you do choir.
Yeah.
So they both did band. Deuce stuck with it longer than baby brother Peter. Deuce did the cello, and he did it for a couple of years, and he got fairly adept at it. I'm not going to call him. What was that guy's name? Yo-Yo? No. What's his name?
Who?
There's the famous cello guy.
I didn't know there was a famous cello guy.
Yes. His name's like...
Yo-Yo would be a great rap name, by the way.
It would be.
Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah, see? Yo-Yo Ma, not Yo-Yo Dad, but Yo-Yo Ma. Yo-Yo Dad's another guy.
That's a great name.
Yo-Yo Ma. Right? Didn't it say he's a brilliant... So Deuce wasn't Yo-Yo Ma. He was Yo-Yo
Was
son.
he Pablo Casals?
He wasn't Pablo Casals either, but he was okay at it. Pete did the trumpet and was just awful because he didn't want to do it.
Sure.
He had no interest in doing it at all.
That's half of it.
I took a secret video of him when he was getting dressed up for it. I still have it to this day. He can't be more than 12 years old, maybe younger, because this might have actually been in middle school when they started. Yeah, it was middle school when they started. And so he was blown into the trumpet, just making noises. And I said, it sounds like an elephant that's dying. That's how bad it was. And I had my phone on my knee, and I was videoing it. I still have it to this day, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Is that wrong to video your boy when he doesn't know it, when he's playing the trumpet?
No.
I thought it was just brilliant. Those are the kind of... I have another one at Deuce. He's at the breakfast table before school. and his chin's down on the table like this. And his chin is actually resting on the table, and he's shoveling cereal into his mouth because he's just so depressed that he's got to go to school. And I've got that on video, too. It's just so good. Is there anything to talk about with the purple?
Peek at the purple?
I didn't really see anything.
Did you look?
I did. I looked at The Athletic, and it was yesterday's story where...
When in doubt, I just Googled Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. Well, Alec Lewis did a piece like what I learned at the meetings and just about the quarterback room. And then I think the one thing is, do you think the Wills were very non-committal on general manager? Oh, yeah, we'll see what Rob wants to do. But they're not just going to hand it to Rob Brzezinski, it doesn't sound like. And then they have to know, I don't think Brzezinski has really said if he's interested in that job. And as you brought up yesterday, capologist guy seems like there's job security there if you're good at being a salary capologist, because you're not making decisions on personnel. You're just saying, here's the money. What do you need me to do?
Win-loss doesn't affect your job.
You need me to work on these contracts and get under the salary cap number. All right, give me a couple nights, burn the midnight oil, you're done, and you get in, you get out, you get to go to the owner's suite and watch the game. But as general manager, if you like trade down and draft Louis Syne, you lose your job. It's over. So now my guess is general manager pays more than capologist, I would think. But then again, is it all about the money? Right? So I think they'll give him a fair shake, I would think. I mean, he's been with the organization for, 20, 30 years, something like that. And look, what they did say that I took from there, I guess this kind of goes for anybody who's going to be, the face of the organization. He's going to be the head guy. We're looking for a guy that's got really good leadership skills. Well, I would hope so. As the president of football operations, I don't think they call him general manager anymore. They have that fancy name, but president of football operations. I would hope you want a good leader. But then again, what is sometimes, tell me, have you ever, it's happened here. We've worked under, you were here, you were working when Anselmo was still running the
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So look. And then who was after that? Was Crusher.
Crush him.
Then it was Tyler. Then it was Alexander. And now it's my good friend, Donnie Lundquist. And they all have different leadership styles.
Yeah.
And I thought they were all fine. What I don't like is the guy. I don't know how to say it. Maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut.
I was very intrigued where this was going.
I got to write this spot anyway. So let's take a by the way, Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable. Whatever your electrical needs are, they can do it at Affordable Electric. I'm telling you. What I really wish they could do is get my button bar up so here it is. Affordable-electric.com for all of your electrical needs. Affordable-electric. Remember, Affordable Electric is, it's shockingly affordable.
Miss your chance to know what the latest sports news is in town, chances to win tickets, and knowing what is going on with all your favorite KFAN shows. Follow KFAN 1003 on all of our social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and X now. Stay connected and follow the sports leader, KFAN.
Couple 13-14 past, I'm Common. He is Tennessee. A number of people, including Ed in St. Paul, texts on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. It says, Common, we're 3 weeks out from the draft. When does Purple Prey return? Lean in radio. And it is indeed. Tennessee, when will it be? Purple Prey, Purple Prey. Who does Tenna think the Vikings will draft today?
We always go 2 weeks out.
Okay.
So what would the date be? Is it the 12th? So 10 days from now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I better get on my horse.
You better get on your horse.
I'm a little behind.
Yeah.
On my research.
Your Lego horse is behind. Hey-o, ho. Okay, hold on. I'm busy writing commercial copy. But I did have, I saw this. Let me go to my notes. I actually took notes today. Twins, simply awful. That's what I wrote. That was my trigger.
That's good analysis.
That's good analysis. Thank you very much. The Avs lost to the Canucks last night. The Canucks are the worst team in hockey. 8-6 is the final score. Is Fred Hoiberg coaching that team? Did they forget to put the goalie in the game? I worked on that line all morning. Actually, I did. It just came to my head right away when I thought about it this morning. They got destroyed. Tennessee, here I am. Concerned about the Wild. 7-2 since the Olympics. Their productivity has plummeted. They're at the top of the rankings for all the great offensive and defensive statistics, and they've dropped like a rock or dropped like a puck at center ice for the opening faceoff. But I see, how did the Lance lose? How do you give up 8 goals? Who was their goaltender, for crying out loud? Did they did they have to go to emergency goaltender guy? That's a beatdown of epic proportions, right?
I'm trying to get into the box score to see who was playing goalie for him last night.
8-6 was the final score. And so, I know we're not going to catch
the Vancouver goalie had a 60% or 80% save percentage, which is really bad, and won the game.
Yeah.
Goalie last night, well, it looks like they both played a little bit.
Brizgavilov?
I'm assuming Blackwood got the start. He gave up 6 goals, and then Wedgwood came in and gave up the last. Well, they must have given up an empty net or two.
Oh, the goalies' names are Blackwood and Wedgwood?
Yes.
I wonder if they ever get confused of which guy's going in. Because if you don't hear him say Wedgwood, just Wood, get in the game. Guy skates out to the ice.
So one, I would say the difference between like your best and worst teams in the National Hockey League is not a huge gap.
Okay.
The second thing I would say is the Wild aren't the only team that is just trying to get to the postseason healthy.
Yeah, I guess. I take your word for it now.
As we've talked about the Wild and how disappointing they've been over the last couple weeks, or especially over the month of March. Well, Dallas has actually been worse over the last 10 games than the Wild have been. Dallas is 3-5-2 in their last 10. And while the Wild are 4-5-1. In Colorado, they're winning the division. They're going to have the number 1 seed all wrapped up. So and also they are without Cale Makar. He got hurt a couple days ago.
Okay.
Not sure exactly on the severity of it. They just said upper body injury. I'm sure at this point you're being cautious at all, especially with Cale Makar. So one, they're playing without one of their 2 best players, arguably the best defenseman in the league. Sure, that doesn't help, but also, are they really going to be sacrificing their bodies to block Vancouver Canucks shots or to go in and try to win one-on-one battles in the corners? I think a lot of these teams at this stage, when they know where they're going to be, they're trying to set up for the playoffs.
Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Hockey always does upper body and lower body.
Yes.
Right? You being the hockey guy here, the guy that I trust the most, I have you, Russo, and Nanny in that order, and Fallness is rising quickly. Gorg is in there. You guys are the top 5. If we had them,
did you say Fallness is rising quickly?
Yeah, Fallness. Is that preposterous?
Man, this list has really thinned out over the years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. So if there was we'd have to add a 5th face to the Mount Rushmore of hockey analysis.
By the way, Russo will join the Tenna Fitzgerald tomorrow did I put him at 2:30? 2:30. And the Micheletti, who's in Vegas for the Frozen 4, he'll join at 1:30 or at 12:30 tomorrow.
Think about this. So tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 72 degrees, and then all of a sudden 12 noon hits and it looks like some storm clouds might be rolling in, and boom, then the Tenna Fitzgerald will get hit. When do you think it'll start taking on water?
There's a windy weather advisory tomorrow. Storms are expected.
When do you think it will start taking on water?
12:03.
12:03.
Once you hear the music.
Well, I told you I get a text from Deuce and Laura Amsterdam guys, and it always starts out with everything you've built. Oh, they think they're so funny, don't they? Oh, aren't they just so funny? Why do they want to cheap shot everybody? You do a fine job. There's nothing wrong with your performance. I'd never rip you. You know that.
You're just saying that to get people to tune in because it's your ratings.
Well, there's that. Now, let me ask you a question. Generally speaking, when they say upper body, how many different upper body parts can get hurt in hockey? What is it usually? Is it usually once they say it, do you kind of know it's like, well, okay, it's a rib or that's a forearm? Or, I mean, I know it can be a lot of different things, but is it usually what is it? And then the same with lower body. Is it usually an ankle? Is it a knee? Do we know? Do we have any?
Lower body can be a lot of different things.
Right.
Upper body is probably typically going to be concussion, shoulder, or something like hand wrist related, right? You might take some slashes on the wrist. Or
makes sense.
Or there's areas that aren't protected. Like it's typically not going to be your like obliques. It's not like you hurt your abs or obliques or chest.
Okay, sure.
Or pec muscles a whole lot playing hockey.
Right, okay. And lower body could be knee,
lower body, it's going to be a lot of hips and groins.
Okay.
I mean, that's been a lot of the issues with Kaprizov. He's had a lot of hip type injuries. Yeah. But they can also, lower body, you're going to have some knee stuff pop up. You're also going to get, how many times you block a shot off the ankle where you might break some bones in your foot or break a bone in your ankle.
Yeah. So again, upper body with the kid from...
Did I say concussion for upper body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid for the Lanch, what'd you say his name was?
Cale Makar.
Their best player?
Him and Nathan McKinnon. I mean, they're both arguably... Nathan McKinnon's a top 2 forward in the National Hockey League. Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Better than Quinnesota?
He's better defensively, yes.
Ooh. And so, I mean, I don't like to see players miss time because of injury and say, well, I'm glad he's hurt because we get a shot. But that would make things, depending upon how long he's out, they lose quite a bit there. But nothing seems to be, they're not tipping their hand at all that if it's long-term, short-term, they never do, right? Just upper body. That's all I can tell you. Okay.
My guess is it's not super long-term or we would have heard about it at this point.
This Puca Nacua story. Have you been following this thing?
I just saw that he went to treatment, but I hadn't heard much about it until then.
Dateline LA. Rams All-Pro wideout Puca Nacua is in rehab and was there before he was sued for assault and battery by a woman who says he made an anti-Semitic statement and bit her on the shoulder on New Year's Eve, according to his attorney. Levi McCatherine told the California Post he was in rehab a substantial period of time before any of these allegations broke, and he's scheduled to be there a while longer. McCatherine told the newspaper Nacua's decision to enter rehab was not a direct response to the lawsuit his accuser filed against him late last month, but an attempt to, quote, improve his overall behavior in every aspect of his life. Nacua issued an apology last December after performing a gesture that plays upon anti-Semitic tropes while appearing on an internet live stream. I remember that story. He said, I had no idea that it was an anti-Semitic gesture. He said he didn't know. Nacua has been one of the...
Was I gone during this story? Because I did not even hear about the story. The first part.
Well, I had... I hold on, because I saved the story from 2 different outlets, and the one I just did not do a very deep dive into it, I don't think. This one didn't either. No, wait a minute now. I have one that took a deeper dive that... Give me a second. Yeah, here it is. Athletic did a deeper dive than the Associated Press. So I did a copy of each. Here's what it says. Nacua checked into the facility on his own before a lawsuit was filed against him that accuses him of biting 2 women at a group dinner on New Year's Eve, according to his attorney. He will remain there until he completes the program ahead of the Rams' organized team activities that start in a few weeks. McCatherine said in a statement, Puca takes responsibility for his well-being and increasing his performance during the offseason. He is committed to using his time constructively so that he can return to the best possible position, both personally and professionally, to continue contributing to his team and the game he loves. He will complete the program in plenty of time to be involved in all the Rams' OTAs. Puca is also deeply grateful for the support he's received from his family, friends, coach, Sean McVay, and his teammates. Story goes on to say, Nacua's decision to seek help comes after months of multiple off-field controversies included in the ongoing lawsuit. In December, just days before, or that's where the anti-Semitic thing, and then he did this celebration, the anti-Semitic celebration. I said, that's anti-Semitic, and he said, I didn't know that. But just 2 weeks after the live stream incident, Nacua was involved in another situation. He was accused by a woman of becoming intoxicated on New Year's Eve and shouting, "Bleep all the Jews," and then biting 2 different women. Jeez. One of the women, Madison Adiabi, is Jewish and is now suing Nacua in a California civil court. Here's what the lawsuit said. Without provocation, consent, or warning, defendant dropped his head into the lap and crotch area of plaintiff's female companion and bit her companion's thumb with such force that her companion screamed in acute pain. Then the lawsuit claims Nacua turned his attention to Adiabi and allegedly bit her on the left shoulder with enough force to leave behind teeth marks.
Wow.
She alleges that the incident took place without her consent or without provocation. She filed a temporary restraining order against Nacua in early March, but the court denied it. However, the lawsuit remains active. McCatherine has denied allegations that Nacua made anti-Semitic remarks that night. But he doesn't deny anywhere in this story he didn't bite the women either. So now whether he did or not, 2 women say that he did. If that's the case, I would hope you go to rehab. That sounds like long-term psychiatric care might be needed. And it's kind of frightening. And of course, the team is behind 100%. We know why. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, right? We know all that. There's a lawsuit, and it looks like it's going to play out. But of course, the team, he's a pretty important player. Best receiver in football, one of them, top 5?
Top 5, yeah. You could argue he's the best receiver in football.
And so I can see why they we can see why they would like to defend him, but we'll see how this thing plays out. But, I had the biting thing. I don't know. I'm with you. I had missed that part. I knew about the anti-Semitic gesture thing, but I didn't know he was in rehab and bit a couple of women. It's just like, and if he did, allege, I guess I got to say that. But like I say, nowhere in there he goes, he does, the attorney admits to the anti-Semitic trope, but saying he didn't know what it was, but he doesn't say, but he denies completely that he bit the women because there's no denial there, but that doesn't mean he won't deny it or hasn't denied somewhere else and I just haven't spotted it. But it's the issue, some of these, and athletes aren't the only people that have bad craziness happen in their life. I guess we just find out about it because it's so well publicized. Like now, Woods, he's leaving the country for his rehab because he claims that there's just too much publicity here. And, I guess that makes some sense. Though if he were to go into a rehab facility in the United States, I mean, I don't think the rehab facility is going to let TMZ come inside and take videos and interview with him, so I don't know why.
But probably like the other people that are also in treatment are
that's
huge.
True too.
Woods, they all know who Tiger Woods is. Some are going to rube out.
Yeah,
you might not trust.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. They would. The other
your
people
ability to
would
be
rube
open.
Out.
Yeah,
they would rube out. Because I've got to think, even across. Now I don't know where, and I don't think in the story did it say. It didn't say where. Right, just out of the country. I don't think it gave a country or a location. But he could probably be recognized elsewhere, though, too. Less of a chance, because it's like I was talking with somebody the other day. There was a time Muhammad Ali was the most recognizable face in the world, right? I mean, when he was in his prime fighting, everybody knew him. I mean, he fought fights in Manila. He fought in Zaire. I mean, everybody knew who Muhammad, even if you weren't a boxing fan, well, you knew who Muhammad Ali was, and you could recognize. There was with the preposterous statement about the most powerful black man, Ali was, and he was certainly the most recognizable, I would think. And I don't, when you start talking about recognizable faces, you have your, like Trump's face would be recognizable.
I'm sure Trump is very recognizable,
to most people all across the world, right? And so are other people that are, in politics. But I think Woods is pretty recognizable, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Even, because of his success and what he meant to golf, there are not many places he's going to go where people are going to go, I have no idea who that is. They don't recognize him, right? Like a lot of hockey players wouldn't be recognized. Wearing a helmet all the time. You're way far on the race, unless you're doing interviews and really are a hockey fan and see them. But if you
just go to Alabama and you won't get recognized down there.
If you are even a casual golf watcher for the past 25 years, it's hard not to. I mean, you watch a broadcast with Tiger playing in a 4-hour telecast. He was going to be on it 3.5 hours of it, and they're showing close-ups of him all the time. So you know who that is. It's not hard to figure out. For instance, even Major League Baseball players. I don't pay as close attention to Major League Baseball as I once did. But like if you put up a picture of, well, Rosie would know Bobby Witt. It's his favorite player. But if you just put up just a photo of Bobby Witt, I don't know if I'd be able to say, well, that's Bobby Witt. A lot of the Twins players I could.
Sports-wise right now would be Tiger Woods and LeBron James. I don't know if there's anyone else who would compete in terms of the whole world knowing who they are.
Right, yeah.
Like who else is on that level?
I guess if you include...
No one in hockey.
I guess if you include soccer players... Because I don't know about the United States,
internationally, yes.
Internationally, for sure. I would say LeBron.
But even to your point, like, I'm sure there are some huge international soccer stars that would come get treatment in the United States and they wouldn't get recognized.
You're absolutely right.
So there's somewhere in the world Tiger Woods can go that they aren't big on golf there.
Yeah.
That he can get some treatment.
Yeah. So, but we wish him all the best, Nacua Woods. Nacua needs, if the allegations the allegations from the women are true, that's sick, man. Well, what are you doing? And again, but it's allegations. I wasn't there. You weren't there. We don't know. And then the Woods stuff is just, you get hooked on that pain medication,
Yeah.
And it's interesting, when I had some, I think it was dental work. What the hell was it? But they gave me a prescription to some pain medication, and it wasn't. What's the stuff that's nobody does now? What's the one where the scourge of the world? What's the name of the drug? Why can't I think of it? Somebody help me. The one that just takes a little tiny bit and it can kill you. It's a pain. Fentanyl. It wasn't fentanyl, but it was some. And I remember the doctor or the dentist, whoever said, now, only if it gets real bad, use this. Because I think it can be addictive. I never took any of it. I mean, I don't think if you took it one time for your pain, because it was tremendous, would all of a sudden send you over the deep end, and all of a sudden you'd be trying to buy it out on the streets. But I just wasn't willing to take that chance. I can't think of anything worse than being dependent on some type of a painkiller where you're getting it wherever you can and you can't seem to cope. You just don't feel. Well, even when I did that, I told you, they told me that when they asked me during the colonoscopy, do you want to be completely out or do you want to be, just feeling good? And I said, well, let's do feeling good, right? But you did feel pretty good. It was kind of, you got out of there and you're kind of happy and had a little bit of a smile on my face. And that's what people get hooked on because they like that feeling. Hooked on a feeling. Hooked on a feeling, you know what I'm saying? So, but we wish him.
I'd be curious with Tiger to know how much of his pain derives from the car accident and all the surgeries he's had, and also the fact that he's still trying to keep the golf thing going.
Yeah.
Because if you still trying to play golf is causing you pain, then you got to stop playing golf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly.
Just give it up, man.
That's exactly right. And he wants to play. It's too bad the car accidents and all the surgeries because, it's interesting when he played in that is it TGL?
Yeah.
Did I read it right? Was that the highest ratings TGL has ever had?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And he only took 5 swings, but people wanted to watch him. There's still that fascination with El Tigre, with Tiger Woods. We'll break. We'll come back. Tennessee, you got a little 5-3-4 for us?
Yeah, Kirko Chains has a new home.
You like that? You like that?